The NBA Finals are still underway, with the Celtics taking command of the series early on, while the Mavericks will be searching for a way to bounce back and save their season, but the other 28 teams are at home devising plans to get themselves into position to make a deep run like that next year. Bleacher Report recently published an article where they cooked up a trade proposal for all 28 teams currently at home right now that they think should be made. So what I'm going to do, as I often do here on this channel, is I'm going to pick out the 4 biggest trades from that article, and then I'll be analyzing why or why not the teams involved should do it, whether or not the trades make sense, and who benefits the most from it if it were to happen. Before we start though, it turns out a good amount of you watching right now aren't even subscribed to the channel, so be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel if you enjoy the content here, as not only does it help out a ton, but I'd also very much appreciate it. Now with that being said, let's begin. The first proposal from the article we'll be discussing is between the Denver Nuggets and the Utah Jazz, where the Nuggets receive Lauri Markkanen in exchange for Michael Porter Jr., a first-round pick, 3 first-round pick swaps, and 3 second-round picks. After catching lightning in a bottle last season and winning the finals, the Nuggets went into this year content with the idea of running it back with a pretty similar group, minus Bruce Brown, but unfortunately they were not able to find similar results. They've already, obviously, got a strong foundation with MVP Nikola Jokic running the show and Jamal Murray being one of the better number 2 options in the NBA. But to keep up with all of the teams on the rise around them, they likely need more, and right off the bat with this proposal, I'll start off by saying that Lauri Markkanen would be a perfect fit in Denver. Lauri has broken out in a big way since his arrival in Utah, making the All-Star team and putting his full versatility as a scorer, inside and out, on display, averaging 25 points per game, shooting the ball 49% from the field and 40% from 3 over the last 2 years. He's 7 feet tall, but has proven that he can play both the small forward and power forward position, so he could still slot in alongside Aaron Gordon and Nikola Jokic in the front court, and he's ultimately just a better version of what Michael Porter Jr. brought to the team as a volume shooter. With all of that being said though, the Jazz have made it clear that they want to hold on to Markkanen moving forward, and even if that does change, he would be an incredibly hot commodity on the open market. 1 first-round pick and a volume shooter is not nearly enough return for an all-star talent like him, and the pick swaps don't hold nearly as much value in trade offers. If word got out that Markkanen could be had in a trade, then plenty of other teams would be both interested and capable of beating this offer. So while Denver would love to turn this dream into a reality, I don't see it being that realistic of an option. The next proposal from the article is between the Houston Rockets and the Miami Heat, where the Rockets receive Jimmy Butler and their first-round pick this year in exchange for Jalen Green, Dillon Brooks, and the 3rd overall pick in this year's draft. While scrolling through the article, this one definitely jumped out at me as wild, yet intriguing as a proposal to analyze, because it's not really one that anybody has been predicting or reporting any smoke about, but there is some logic behind it for sure. Near the end of the regular season, reports were coming out that the Rockets would want to make a really big swing this summer. We just don't know what that will result in yet. Jimmy Butler is a player the Rockets have expressed interest in since all the way back in 2018. And after last offseason, where the Rockets started to put together a more competitive roster, they could now be looking to cash in on some of their biggest trade chips to go all in. Jalen Green, since he's been drafted, has been one of the most inconsistent players on any team. It's hard to trust someone like him because even though there is undeniable talent there, his shortcomings on defense and his disastrous cold streaks and decision-making issues can really kill a team's momentum. Green did end the season scorching hot though, so if there was ever a time to sell high on a talent like that, it would be now. And if it can get you a competitor like Jimmy Butler to lead the way while the rest of the young talent continues to settle into their roles, then you definitely do it. I'm actually not sure if Miami would do something like this though. It really does seem like Jimmy Butler's future may be up in the air in Miami, but moving him for a player in Jalen Green that plays the same position as Tyler Hero and brings even less consistency than Hero doesn't seem like the kind of move that the Heat would typically go for, and 1 single first-round pick to bolster this offer along with Dillon Brooks doesn't seem like it would be enough to cut it. The next proposal from the article is between the Utah Jazz and the Detroit Pistons, where the Jazz receive Cade Cunningham in exchange for Keontae George, Taylor Hendricks, the 10th pick in this year's draft, and 3 more first-round picks to add on to it. These are two teams at a crossroads with an infinite amount of options in front of them. The Pistons have been rebuilding for a few years now, but have nearly no progress to show for it. The Utah Jazz have only been rebuilding for 2 years now, but have a seemingly endless treasure chest of assets at their disposal to dangle in trade offers, and they also have an all-star in his mid-20s to build around, plus quite a few solid pieces of their young core that are budding into solid talent as well. One thing the Jazz are definitely in need of is a floor general type of talent to run the show for them, and Cade Cunningham has been one of the very few bright spots in Detroit doing just that. Cunningham is coming off of a season where he put up about 23 points and 7.5 assists per game at just 22 years old, and he is easily the player that the Pistons plan to continue to build around. So to suggest trading him sounds insane, but this offer on the table for him is also equally as insane, so it's hard for me not to believe that the Pistons would at least hear them out. Keontae George had a tremendous final few months of his rookie season, showing a ton of promise as a scorer, with good feel for the game as a passer too. Taylor Hendricks has the makings of a nice 3-and-D wing, which is vital to any competitive team, and then 4 first-round picks staring you in the face is the ultimate temptation for a rebuilding team. You could argue that Cade Cunningham isn't even worth 4 first-round picks, which is why both sides may hesitate a little bit, but ultimately, if a Cunningham trade were to happen, it would have to be a huge offer like this to even get the Pistons on the phone, and the Jazz would immediately be back on track to being competitive in the West again if they were to go through with this. And finally, the last proposal from the article we'll be looking at is between the Indiana Pacers and the Brooklyn Nets, where the Pacers receive Mikal Bridges in exchange for TJ McConnell, Benedict Mathurin, Jarris Walker, 2 lightly protected first-round picks, and 3 second-round picks. In the past, it's been reported that the Nets have received offers of up to 3 first-round picks for Mikal Bridges, and the Nets have said no each time. So while you look at an offer like this and only see 2 first-rounders and assume it's an automatic no, things have also changed a bit since that last round of offers. For one, at the time, Bridges was looking like a potential breakout all-star, scoring 26 points per game. Then this season, with a full year of being a go-to scoring option though, he came back down to earth, averaging fewer than 20 points per game this season, and thus his value on the market should likely come back down to earth as well. It's still going to take a lot to get the Nets to give him up though, and honestly, this is the kind of curveball offer that I am intrigued by. The Pacers don't want to lose the momentum that they've built for themselves after a run to the conference finals, and an upgrade in the middle of their lineup would do wonders for them. Benedict Mathurin is also a juicy piece to include in an offer like this, because even though many have forgotten about him because he was injured and out during their playoff run this year, he was actually developing well as a young scoring guard when he was healthy. Jarris Walker was also a lottery pick in last year's draft, who may not have been able to break into the current rotation as a rookie, but that doesn't mean he's a bust by any means, so he could absolutely be viewed as an intriguing piece to buy low on, and the added draft capital plus Mathurin of course make it tempting. Of course, plenty of teams will be also trying to trade for Mikal Bridges, so I'm not even sure that this would be the best offer the Nets will receive for him, but I'm still intrigued by the fit nonetheless. And with that being said, that's all I have for you today. Make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and comment down below what you think about these proposed trades. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next time.